After their reunion, Samuel and Jonah started seeing each other more often. Jonah would take him out, buy him drinks, give him small cash here and there, and talk about how life could be better. But Samuel wasn't interested in the drinks or the money. He wanted to know how Jonah made it. He kept asking him to show him the way. Again and again, he asked, telling him he wasn't afraid of hard work, that all he wanted was to help his family. Jonah kept telling him the same thing. It wasn't something just anyone could do. He warned him to leave it alone, but Samuel wouldn't stop. He said he was tired of suffering, tired of watching his parents struggle, tired of saving every naira with nothing to show for it. One evening, Jonah finally gave in. He told Samuel to follow him and not ask too many questions. That night, they drove far outside town, past villages and empty roads, until they reached a narrow path that led into the forest. Jonah told him to cover his eyes with a cloth, and Samuel did it without a word. They walked deep into the forest, led by torchlight and the sound of crickets. When they arrived, Jonah removed the blindfold. In front of them was a small clearing, lit by oil lanterns. A wooden table stood in the middle, covered with red cloth, an object Samuel couldn't name. Around the table were men, dressed in white wrappers, silent and serious. Samuel stood still. He had never seen anything like it, but he had come too far to turn back. When he was asked to kneel, he obeyed. When they gave him something bitter to drink, he swallowed it without question. Then they told him things that didn't sound real at first, what they required, what he had to give, what would follow. They all seemed like simple tasks until they asked for the one thing that was impossible for him, his mother. Of course, it was common for such rituals for requests for the life of a loved one. Samuel never expected he would find himself in such a situation, because he only heard it as stories and even concluded they were fairy tales, but he was now in the same situation. The moment they said the words, "You have to sacrifice your mother," everything in him froze. His mind ran wild, but his body acted on its own. As the men turned to prepare something behind the table, he took a few steps back, then turned and ran. No one had to tell him he was in danger. He could feel it. The forest was dark, the paths unfamiliar, but fear gave him speed. Shouts rang out behind him. Two men chased after him with cutlasses, slicing through bushes as they ran. Samuel didn't look back. He ran as fast as his legs could carry him, stumbling over roots, branches scratching his skin, thorns tearing at his clothes. His chest burned, his legs screamed, but he didn't stop. One of the men caught up to him and swung the machete. It cut deep into his side.